guys, Ash here coming at you today, teaching you how to use the Bowler in combination with the clone spell to absolutely decimate popular bases. First, we're going to go after this very popular four-corner ring base here. We're going to start out with a queen walk here, and we're going to bust through one of these sides of this compartment with wall breakers, and then the other side, starting out how we would normally start out an attack like this against a base like this. But I'm going to show you just how powerful using Bowlers in combination with a clone spell can be once you can get to the core of a base. So against any base like this, you always want to start out, if you're using a queen walk, which is what I would obviously advise, you always want to start out cracking open one side of one of those compartments and then the other side of one of those side compartments or corner compartments on the compass. And then what you want to do, she'll exit that area, and then you still play things slow here. The queen walk here takes a little bit of time, but the rest of the attack moves really quickly, so you'll be able to make up that time as well. Now, I like taking two of the poison spells, using one against the Barbarian King, or if it's the Archer Queen, it doesn't matter what you're going to be engaging there. If it's the Archer Queen, you might have to go ahead and use the Queen's ability. If it's the Barbarian King, you can just go ahead and use a poison spell, and you don't need to use your Queen's ability to take out that Barbarian King. So once you have that all set up, you bust through with some wall breakers, and then you have about anywhere from 8 to 11 Valkyries and 8 to 11 Bowlers. Once you get them to the core of the base, you drop that jump spell nice and early, want to make sure they don't funnel around, and the beautiful thing about the Bowlers is once you get them to the center of the base, you drop that clone spell, and look at this. The cloned Bowlers under rage, as I showed in my sneak peek videos, is absolutely incredibly powerful. Sit back on that second rage spell. You can see I sat back a little bit there. I used it on the last of the cloned Bowlers, and they took out like almost half of the western part of that base just with their splash damage. Bowlers under rage is very, very powerful, and you can see here my queen is still up and alive with the queen ability. It would have been really nice if she went west here, but either way it worked out fine. They all kind of merged back together towards the west part of the base, towards the end of the raid here. But it's just a very easy formula. You want to make about the same number of Bowlers and Valkyries. Make sure you drop the Bowlers before the Valkyries, that way they're cloned first when you get to the center, because what you really want to do here, Valkyries are still very powerful, very strong, but the idea here is if you can get those Bowlers to the center of a base like this, or even an anti-3-star base, and then clone them, they'll absolutely go wild, and they'll take out a lot of the surrounding area, because if you clone Valkyries, obviously they're still going to run into those walls and take a little bit of time away from that clone benefit. So, against a base like this here, this was out in the wild, as you can see. I'm going to start my queen walk. You can see I kind of just zoomed in on all the expos there. On the queen walks lately, I'm basically only looking at the expos. Obviously, I want to make sure I can funnel her or direct her in the right direction, but beyond that, I just want to make sure she can walk as long as possible without having to engage one of those expos. So see here, in this raid, I made a huge mistake. This is actually on my lunch break at work, and I play on my iPhone at lunch, and no excuses, but I popped my queen's ability for absolutely no reason, and that will be very evident in a second. So it should have been a way more impressive raid in terms of really fast 3-star, but look at here, right in 1 second, I popped the queen ability for absolutely no reason. It's to keep your eye on her. There it is. No reason to do that at full health, but hey, whatever. So on these attacks against these anti-3 bases using Bowlers, I bring about 10 to 12 Bowlers, and then 3 Bowlers I'll put on the side to help create that funnel, and then I'll back them up with 3 Wizards. Now, the Bowlers could actually take a few hits off even a max cannon, so the Bowlers will be a little bit of a shield for those Wizards, and they'll all stay alive, creating that half of the funnel. So Queen Walk is creating one half of the funnel, the 3 Bowlers and 3 Wizards are creating the other half of the funnel, the rest of the troops go right towards the center. You're going to use the clone spell. Again, make sure you drop the Bowlers before the Valkyries. Use the clone spell on the Bowlers. As soon as you do so, you want to go ahead and pop that Grand Warden ability, drop down a rage spell, and they'll absolutely devastate the middle of that base, doing a heck of a lot of damage, splash damage all throughout that core of the base. You don't even need to bring another jump spell because they're going to open up the walls pretty fast on their own, especially if the Valkyrie's still alive there. That's why you're still bringing Valkyries and not just making this a mass Bowler attack. Valkyrie's still very powerful, but I think we can finally start putting Bowlers in our raids too, not just using a Bowler walk as I was doing pre-update, but we can actually use them as part of the kill squad right into the core of that base. They have great synergy with a clone spell. If I hadn't popped that stupid Archer Queen ability, I would have been an easy 3-star if I just held back on one minion, but it was a 99%, but oh well, it was okay. I ran out of time there at the very end, but you got